I don't know if you've heard, but Pixar is getting ready to release a new movie in just weeks, folks. We're talking about Inside Out 2, the film that stars anxiety as a character your kids probably should not be cuddling up to come this summer. Well, now, folks, ahead of that movie's release, Disney is firing vast numbers of employees out of Pixar. We'll tell you what it means and why the timing is bizarre right now. Hello, folks. Welcome back to a place that gives you no anxiety, but perhaps causes pure rage. No, not that far. Anger, maybe. They're at least not happy with us when it comes to the mainstream media, the drive-bys, and the Disney pixie dusters. But we are here, folks, to be the busters of false narratives and false claims. We are here to explore entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and it is a joy to do so. Folks, as we get ready to go into this topic, consider clicking the like button. You are not going to believe the numbers of Pixar employees fired. And folks, a reminder, we take no joy in the suffering of others whatsoever, never, ever. But we also do not ignore the reading of the tea leaves. And folks, it's time to bring on a panel that will tell you exactly what is going on pre-release of a big Pixar film as catastrophe strikes the studio. In Red, which have performed abysmally at the box office this year, contributing almost nothing at all and forcing theater owners to wish they had not put them in their cinemas in the first place. But read this part right here. This is the big one. When it reverted to prioritizing theatrical releases, moviegoers rejected the $200 million budgeted Toy Story spinoff Lightyear, which marked Pixar's second consecutive misfire after 2020's Onward. Although Elemental finished with $495 million globally, by the way, folks, that's still a flop. Much stronger than its disappointed opening weekend would have suggested, it's far less than past Pixar movies have earned. So it has been flop after flop after flop for Pixar. And now these folks, who, by the way, we take absolutely no joy in their terminations, but these people are heading out the door. And this is, folks, the sad side of going woke and going broke. Panel, your thoughts on Pixar laying off, especially given the timeline here. We are just before this movie releases. Surely they could have waited till after.
All right. Add to that the fact that they'd already released 75 employees in January because of the terrible failures that they experienced the previous year.
Now, was that only January? That included Angus McLean, correct?
Yeah, it took executives with them. Yeah,
right. So
two executives actually.
The rumor that we're hearing there is that there was a move to try and shift some of the blame for Lightyear onto Angus McLean, which is
yeah.
I mean, I shift it. I mean, he was pretty heavily involved in that film, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was the director of the film.
Yeah.
But also there are indications that maybe the inmates are in charge of the asylum over there.
That's what I was going to say. We've had some sources who suggested that Angus McLean was kind of victim to the forces that be that said, you'll put this in there, and then, oh, by the way, it's your fault now that it's in there. So
I don't
know how much truth there is to that. But
I remember him being one of the guys who was like vehemently defending the film and the things that it made on social media.
Mm-hmm. And it could be. You never know why some folks reach out to us and suggest what they do, but just trying to present both sides of it. Jay, what do you think about Pixar and its current situation?
I'm just wondering what employees they are letting go. Like, are these just advisors on the set, or like in the office, or are
Jay? These are almost certainly not the people who made any of the decisions that cost them their jobs.
Right. So these are probably the low, like at the bottom of the bottom employees first. They get gobbled up first before they get to anyone on the higher ups, I'm assuming. So, but it's, like, again, we don't like seeing people lose their job, but if they were embracing and waiting for more layoffs, then they should have been prepared after seeing the line graph go in the wrong direction for money making in their films. This is very, like, anyone who just takes a look at Disney or listens to their earnings call or whatever it is, you can clearly see that there's only one thing that's making them money, and that's the theme parks at this moment. And that is slowly going in the wrong direction as well. So it's not surprising, and people there should be worried about their jobs. So, because it wouldn't shock me if more is coming. So, more.
So they've got.
I don't think one or two good banger films is going to save it either. You know, because they've got a lot of red to make up.
Well, let me ask you this, Jay. Is this perhaps a sign that Pixar and Disney are prognosticating this film's not going to do well? Because if you were coming into this summer and you said, oh boy, one of our big films that's going to save the day for us is Inside Out 2. We've seen it. We love it. Audiences are going to love it. They're going to be holding the plushies. They're going to buy the merch, T-shirts everywhere, joy and sadness and anxiety. If that was how they were feeling, seems to me they wouldn't be firing folks because they'd be saying, we got to ramp up production. This is a great studio. This is our saving grace. That's not what they're doing.
I honestly don't part of the marketing campaign. Anxiety, right?
Yeah. That was a good one. I honestly don't see that a sequel, even if it does really well, could save a studio. One studio, like I said, like we're dealing with so many failures. And then what do they have coming up after that? Are they just gonna if Inside Out does very well, what are they gonna do? Like do Inside Out 3? Let's the next emotion's gonna be bad gas or something like that. Like what's like the next, like how is that all gonna work? So
depression.
Yeah. Is it going to be questioning? You know, I'm old enough now to question myself. Like what are they going to do? So they're going to do 3, 4, 5 films and try to milk this thing like they're getting ready to do a Toy Story
and Frozen.
So, you know, it's like I don't think that could save a studio. Even if it was a massive hit, I think this was just something that they were going to do no matter what.
So just to echo what you're saying there a little bit, they're talking about how a lot of articles are pushing this on Chapek and saying it's because Chapek wanted more content for Disney Plus, which we all know that's kind of bogus. Anyways, all of that was approved by Bob Iger. But in this, they're saying there is one Disney Plus series from Pixar that is yet to come out. It's called Win or Lose or Make or Break or something like that. That's kind of forgettable. We're also hearing that will probably have, or it did at some point have a lot of agenda in it, and that they were going to be members of whatever team this is, probably soccer because they want to be international and not specifically related to America. That at least some members of the team were part of the alphabet squad, as it were. But their excuse that they're saying is, oh well, we're getting away from Disney Plus, so we need to get rid of another 175 workers. I think we all know the timeline here. When they said they were getting away from Disney Plus, that was, I want to say 2022. And here we are in 2023. They're talking about how they're really focusing on studio films instead of Disney Plus. So there's some excuse here, but I still don't see it.
Here's the thing with Disney and Lucasfilm especially, they love to pass the blame. They never can look at their numbers and go, man, we messed up. Like, we really got to change some things. They love to the original sin. They just love to pass the blame onto something else. It wasn't my fault. Well, we're moving away from Disney Plus, so let's just fire them. That's their fault. That's Chapek's fault. He's the one who did that. Let's just pass the blame. So they'll just keep doing that until they finally, I mean, it's going to get to a point, unless they make some serious changes. I don't know how many other people they could point the finger at unless they fire a higher up. And then they're like, all right, we fired a higher up. Now we could pass the blame onto that person who's no longer with the company. It's just a constant thing with them. They just never, ever sit and take an L and go, we haven't done some good stuff. So,
that's a really good point. The only person there right now that is probably to be blamed is Pete Docter. It's been a long time since he's produced a hit. He was the director of Up and the original Inside Out and Monsters, Inc. And they've obviously had a lot of struggles since around 2018. Something happened around 2018. Andrew Stanton is technically still with the company. He's one of the original Brain Trust. He's working over there on something for 20th Century Studios right now. I think he's their saving throw. He's the last of that original Pixar crew that still has that high profile. They could bring him in, and that would be the last move I think they have before they actually make real heads roll over there at Pixar.
And controversial opinion, you mentioned the movie Up. I tend to think that Up is far superior in the beginning and decreases in value the entire run of the film. The first third is one of the best Disney movies ever, and then it just precipitously drops the rest of the way until we have dogs flying airplanes. But that's just me. Maybe no one agrees with me out there. One thing I think we can all agree on, though, gentlemen, is that folks out there who read thatparkplace.com as well as visit our channels, they were none too surprised by the news that broke this morning, because take a look at this. From thatparkplace.com, January 12th, John Trent, the author, who's that, report the Walt Disney Company to lay off 20% of Pixar's staff after string of disastrous box office releases. Folks, all the way back in January, you knew this was on the way. And we also want to give major credit because this report originally came from TechCrunch's Sarah Perez, who had said that 1,300 would likely be let go. So Perez had the original start on that, but John knows exactly what is going to be big news for tomorrow and for tomorrow's tomorrow. And so, John, good job on picking this up back when you did and helping the folks out there not be shocked, not be surprised when the news hit and the journalists began to cry. Good job, John. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end yet again of another video of excellence. Why is it excellent? Because you are here. Folks, we mean it. Like, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment right on down below. Folks, we hope you will join us soon yet again. More videos on the way, 3 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. Also check out That Park Place and at That Pod Place right here on YouTube for more. And folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing. And you know the line, keep having fun.